Beauty. Good afternoon. I'm going to give you the beginning of the show. Good afternoon, my friends, my brothers and sisters everywhere, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I hope this day is finding you safe, healthy, and happy and enjoying your life, whatever you're doing. Just doing the very best you can with whatever it is that you're doing. I hope you're enjoying yourself. I hope you are vibrantly living, which is what this show is about. This is the New Thought Media Network. I'm Ken Ludwig. You're watching Vibrant Living. And again, just hope you're having a fabulous day, whatever you're doing, wherever you are. I apologize for being a minute late here getting on today. I was otherwise occupied. I was trying to get set up, and as if you saw at the very beginning of the show, you could see that I wasn't even close to set up. I didn't even have the bump music ready there. I was just had my face with no bump music. Oh well. I feel like I'm a little bit out of sync here today on my voice and my face, but that's that's the internet, and I guess it'll straighten out or it won't straighten out. So um I'm on an interesting journey. I have been an entrepreneur for a good deal of my life, for different types of entrepreneurship for the last I don't know, what is it, 30 years? Okay, maybe 35 years actually. Actually, pretty much since sobriety, I've been on an entrepreneurial journey, and I've had varied success here and there. I've had some really good success with a couple of different companies that where the companies didn't make it, or they got sold, or something crazy happened and it didn't work. But I've never given up on the dream. I've never given up on the desire to be an entrepreneur, to not have anyone tell me what to do. I always joke that I'm psychologically unemployable and I don't play well with others. That's not really the truth. And everything I ever did in the job world, it either turned out that I was number one with whoever I worked with, I was the manager at whoever I worked with, or I was gone. That's pretty much the way it worked. I was either in charge or I was out of there. And I guess that was kind of my entrepreneurial spirit, even at a young age, moving me in the direction that I would eventually wind up, where I haven't now really even an entrepreneurial position I had in the early 2000s. I still worked. I kind of worked for somebody, but it was an entrepreneurial kind of it was almost a hybrid entrepreneur and employee kind of thing. I had it set up that I was an employee, but that was for the benefit of retirement accounts and that kind of thing. But the truth of the matter was, I owned the business and I ran the business and blah, blah, blah. But ever since that ended, I haven't had a job now in over 15 years. Never made a lot of money. No, I'm 72 years old. I don't have no grand illusions about being rich or making tens of thousands of dollars a month in whatever endeavor I'm involved in. I just want to have a nice living. I want my beloved Lisa and I to enjoy our lives and to be able to travel. That's what I want more than anything is to travel, to be out there in the world. Spent a lot of time in the network marketing, affiliate marketing, direct selling world, where there's an awful lot of personal growth that goes on. And it's, they always refer to network marketing as a business opportunity, or I'm sorry, a personal growth course with a compensation plan attached, which to some extent is true, although too often the personal growth was all about marketing and selling, there's some personal growth involved there. I'm someone who's always considered the idea that there's nothing ever happens in this world without a sale being made. Nothing. You're here, I'm here, because on a particular evening, somewhere in the past, our father or our mother sold the opposite spouse on a particular idea that wound up 9 months later or so many months later in our presence. A sale was made. One of them sold the other one on the idea of, or maybe they sold each other on the idea, however it worked. But there's always a sale being made. So the personal development involved in developing your sales skills, I think, really helps in personal development in general. as far as life is concerned. Truthfully, no matter what we're doing, no matter whether we're an employee, we're an entrepreneur, no matter what it is that we're into, we only have one thing in this life to present to everyone else, and that's ourselves. And we are always selling that. And I think one of the key pieces is, are you selling an image, or are you selling the authentic self, who you are, how you present? But this is really me. Is it authentic? Is it real? Or is it some conjured up thing? In a lot of sales things, they talk to you in the terms of develop your elevator speech, which I have always hated the concept. The elevator speech is whatever it is, 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds of getting out of your mouth what it is you do, so that the purpose is always so someone else says, really, tell me more. How interesting. What else can you tell me? Something to get the other person interested. That's what the elevator speech is all around. I always considered it to be very inauthentic, but that was a piece of the sales thing. In truth, I think that elevator pitch or elevator speech, or whatever you want to call it, is really just how people recognize me, how I am seen by those with whom I interact. So in the course of these last 15 plus years, 17 years now, I guess, I have worked 18 years. I've worked diligently on developing myself. And let's back up a second here, okay? In the mid 1990s, I discovered metaphysics. I discovered the works of Reverend Paul Leon Masters, who was I believe still is the president of then what was known as the University of Metaphysics. Now it is the International Metaphysical Ministries and the University of Sedona. And I started reading that stuff. And then I had an old girlfriend who turned me on to The Science of Mind, and the textbook by Ernest Holmes known as The Science of Mind. It was written in 1927, the single most earth-shattering, life-changing book I've ever read. It's 600 and change pages. I've read it 2.5 times. Every time I open it and read anything from it, it's like I've never read it before. Lots and lots and lots of books involved there. Ernest Holmes wrote 26 or 27 or 28 books. I've read 14, I believe. I used to do an old radio show on the internet called What We're Thinking About. And I started every show by opening Ernest's book, This Thing Called You. And if you're familiar with that book, there's pretty much something quotable on every single page of the book. And I would open it up and I would read a quote, and that's the point from which I would launch my show. I didn't have anything planned particularly. I just did my show from whatever that quote led me to think or say, or whatever came pouring out of my mouth. That led to enormous focus on personal development, personal growth. But that's on a spiritual level. Now, to my way of thinking at this juncture, after doing all that, if you're going to grow mentally, emotionally, physically, fiscally, business-wise, anyway, you absolutely have to grow spiritually first. Doesn't matter to me if you are practicing a religion, if you're an atheist, an agnostic, doesn't matter. There is a spiritual piece to you. You refer to it as something other than that, but it is your spirit. It is your attitude. It is your personality. That's your spirit, basically. Spirit to me is much deeper than that. And to all metaphysicians, spirit is the overarching creative intelligence, the universe, God, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it. And that personal development that came from focusing on that led me into deeper thought processes about me and who I am and where I'm going and who I want to be in this world and who I am actually becoming in this world. And I'm quite pleased with who I've become in this world, but it didn't necessarily move me to fiscal success, business success. And as I've gotten older, and there are fewer and fewer opportunities as you get older, being an entrepreneur is a real blessing, because I have opportunities to do kind of pretty much whatever I want, especially in my chosen field of network marketing, affiliate marketing, direct selling, so forth. I want to attach all three because they're all kind of interwoven, if you will. And the other day, I saw a little clip. Actually, several weeks ago, I saw one clip, and this clip is with a fellow by the name of Eric Worre. Eric Worre is a generic is not the right word. He's a teacher. He's a trainer in the network marketing field. He is a legend in that field. He is someone who is hugely sought after. His trainings are followed by millions of people. He wrote a book called Go Pro, which is literally a network marketing Bible at this point in time. And his training, his teaching is really kind of something that people just are following all the time. He's, as I said, he's much sought after. And I saw him do, I'm gathering that what he did was sit down for an interview with someone. And he's talking to this person who's off camera and he's answering questions. And I think probably it was a relatively long interview. And my guess is that he compartmentalized it into little pieces of individual gems. And the piece that he said, now this is a guy who was monumentally successful in network marketing to begin with, and then went off to become a trainer and again, is recognized as the single most effective skills-based trainer in the industry. That's how I've heard him referred to. And I heard him talking in this interview where he said that it took him about 45 years to realize that his biggest impediment to his success, God, the glasses from the glare drive me nuts. I hope, I'm sorry. Biggest impediment to his success was consistency. And I have heard, I can't tell you how many gazillion times I've heard the importance of consistency in becoming successful in whatever chosen field, but in any kind of sales oriented field. And again, everything is sales. Consistency is key. It's hugely important. And it got me to thinking about how, as many times as I've heard it talked about, how completely inconsistent I have been in my life, in my studies, even in my meditation practice, which, I'm a daily meditator, but I'm inconsistent there as well. I never go, unless I'm away somewhere and it's just not feasible. I never go 3 days without meditating. And I rarely go I rarely go more than skipping a day before I meditate. And I would say that as a general rule of thumb, I meditate 5 to 6 out of every 7 days. But still, that's not 100% consistent. It's not, I like to refer to it as something I consider to be, what's the word? It's really funny. It's one of my favorite words and it's just not coming out of my mouth. Non-negotiable. I consider my meditation non-negotiable, but it's not so non-negotiable that I won't skip a day here and there. So that's not totally non-negotiable. There's no degree of non-negotiability. But I am not as consistent as I think I should be. And without question, in my business life, I am not consistent. And it's because a lot of the things that I am called to do that would contribute dramatically to my overall success, there are things I don't want to do. And successful people are the people in this world who do every single day all of those things that they don't want to do. That's a big deal. And stop and think about that for yourself in your own life. What are the things that you should be doing every single day for whatever reasons? Spiritual, business, athletic, getting in shape, whatever it is. What are the things that you should be doing every single day that you don't want to do and consequently don't? We can either have success or we can have excuses. We obviously cannot have both. By the way, I can see you folks are out there. Please, I can't read the comments from every single source, but if you're out there, please make a comment, say hi, let me know what you're thinking about, ask me a question if you want, or make a comment about what we're talking about here today. But anyway, that piece, that whole success piece, led me to another crazy interview, and it was just a little snippet. And I didn't really watch the whole interview, and I hope I refind it and can watch it again. But if you're familiar with the CNN host, Don Lemon, used to do his own show, just called, I think, the Don Lemon Show in the evenings. And he was with CNN's had this huge shakeup, and he's been moved down to now he's a co-host with 2 women, Caitlin somebody, and I think Poppy Harlow maybe. Don't know the names. I'm sorry. He he's now co-host with them of the morning show as part of this big shakeup on CNN. And Don Lemon is somebody I've always admired. I really like what he stands for. I like how he's a straight shooter. Whatever reason CNN is doing their big shakeup, Don Lemon got moved out of his spot. And he's not really the greatest, doesn't appear to be so far, the greatest collaborator with two co-hosts. The only person I ever saw him collaborate with was Chris Cuomo, who had the show following him in the evening. And of course, Chris got fired for collaborating with his brother Andrew's political nightmare of messing around or whatever the hell he was doing, whatever craziness that was. So Chris got canned, but that's the only person I ever saw Don Lemon interact with, and they only interacted for minutes between shows, as one show was leading to the other. Anyway, Don Lemon is interviewing Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman is arguably one of the most recognizable actors on the planet, inarguably one of the most successful actors on the planet. His movies that he starred in or been a big part of have grossed billions of dollars. He is a incredibly recognizable face. His voice is every bit, if not more, recognizable than the face, or as the face. And he was being interviewed by Don Lemon, and Don Lemon asked him something. I guess the question wasn't part of the snippet I saw. The question is about, his success. And Morgan Freeman said he was born in Memphis, Tennessee, in extreme poverty. And it was a long way from where he was to where he is. And it was a tough struggle, and it was a climb, and it was a whatever it all was. But he made the comment, but here we are. And Don Lemon then came back to him, and this is a legitimate question, I think. He said, it sounds like the same old grab yourself or pull yourself up by the bootstraps story, where you're telling everybody anyone can do that. And let's be honest, not everybody has that ability to do that or has the opportunity to pull themselves up by the bootstraps. And Morgan Freeman was kind of leaning back in his chair, and he kind of sat forward and he went, bullshit. He said, everybody has the ability to do that. And the difference between those who do and those who don't is courage. And some can conjure up the courage and some cannot. And it made me stop and think about where in my journey of success, my pursuit, if you will, of success, have I lacked the courage to, again, do those things that I know I should be doing every day that I don't do. That takes courage. That's consistency and courage. Courage is a fascinating word. And the people who know me or have watched my show, or even back in the days when I did my radio show, people might recognize that I love the etymology of words. The word courage basically comes from Latin cor, C-O-R, for heart. And through the years, courage, I believe is how it's pronounced in French, and courage then in Old English was actually a reference to the heart being the center of feelings, which is an interesting thing that comes forward into the 21st century and heart coherence and the Heart Math Institute and those kinds of things. But heart as the center of feelings. And that's a huge piece for me. When you talk about courage, if courage is recognizing the heart as the center of feelings, then am I expressing feelings from that heart that are moving me forward, or am I cowering? Am I shying away from those feelings? You can't ignore those feelings. Those feelings are there, but you can shy away from them, I believe. And I believe I have in many instances. So there's consistency, there's courage. And the last piece is, and these are not necessarily in order. The last piece is deciding. You have to decide to have courage. You have to decide to be consistent. And I love, again, the etymological history of the word decide comes from day, which is I'm sorry, is I believe is cut, and sidere, which is off. And so the word in Latin is decidere. Decidere means to cut off from, meaning that to decide is to cut off all other possibilities than what you have decided. And if you've made a decision to have the courage of your convictions, to have the courage to know what it is that you need to do and to decide to do that, and then to be consistent in that decision, decide, be courageous, and be consistent, then I think success in any endeavor is guaranteed. And trust me when I tell you, I'm not giving you a lesson. This screen that I'm looking at might as well be a mirror. In many ways, it is a mirror, but I'm talking to myself. I made the decision a long time ago, but have I truly had the courage to follow through on that decision and to be consistent with it? And the answer, of course, is sometimes, not always. So it's just, there's a point there for whoever wants to listen, whoever wants to get the point, whoever wants to buy the point. Excuse me. All of us have desires to be successful at something. And I, excuse me, I also read something just before the show. Just before the show today, there was a baseball player whose name I did not recognize, who was coming to the end of an $8 million contract. He was a free agent. And rather than sign, he left Major League Baseball. He was a star, $8 million contract for a year. He went and studied diesel mechanics and the electronics of boating, and then bought himself a sailboat and now spends 6 months of the year sailing in the Caribbean. Gave baseball away. And people say, but you gave up millions of dollars. He said, I have millions of dollars. Why is it necessary to have more and more and more and more and more? So success for him was defined as being a success in baseball, but then successfully leaving baseball and successfully doing what his heart desired. That to me is true success. Being able to do what your heart desires. In order to get there, though, you have to make the decision. You have to have the courage to do the things that other people will not do, or more importantly, do the things that you don't want to do, and you do them anyway, and then be consistent in that doing. That is an amazing lesson for myself, from myself. And I hope that in expressing it to you, you get something out of it as well. That's pretty much it for me today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoy my show. I hope you enjoy what I do here. I want you to remember always that the New Thought Media Network is a nonprofit organization. We are 501c3. Everything you give to us is tax deductible. You can go to ntmedia.org, click on donate, and we are insanely grateful for anything that you deign to give us. That's ntmedia.org, newthoughtmedia.org. Click on donate. Give us what you got. The show, of course, is brought to you by hempworks.com. And if you go to hempworks.com/Ken Ludwig, that'll take you right to my page. It will bring you to the cleanest, the purest, the most potent CBD products on the planet, and the #1 direct-to-consumer distributor of CBD and hemp products in the world. And you will find amazing products there for all aspects of your physical health, but also you'll find stuff there for your pets. And so please go visit there. If you have questions, let me know. One of these days, I will get back onto, what is that thing called? Instagram. And you will find me there at evolving_hippie. That's me, the evolving hippie. You will find me there. If you go there, you can reach me, by the way, if you want to email me, teamrockitnow@gmail.com. And just, just a final note here that the HempWorks is part of the My Daily Choice umbrella. There are 11 different brands under the My Daily Choice umbrella. HempWorks is the biggest selling brand underneath that umbrella. You are welcome to go there, please, and try it out, check it out, and see what it's all about. In the meantime, though, HempWorks is that #1 spot, and I am. Why did I click on that one there? I didn't mean to. There we go. HempWorks. HempWorks is there. Donate to New Thought Media Network at ntmedia.org. Email me at, where is it there? teamrockitnow@gmail.com. I am, as always, immensely grateful for the great gift of your time, your attention. It means the world to me. I know there's lots of other things you could do. Spending time watching my show really, really, really makes a difference to me. I hope you will join me every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 2 o'clock Mountain Time. That's 1 o'clock Pacific Time. What would that be? That would be 11 a.m. Aloha, Hawaii time. So, once again, grateful for your time and your attention. I wish you all the love and blessings that the universe has to offer. Until next week, namaste.